Storing your vinyl records the right way can mean the difference between enjoying your collection worry-free and watching it collapse and crash to the ground in pieces. Now that might sound a bit alarmist, but it can happen. So in this video, I'm going to show you the safe and sturdy way I store my records, the materials I use, the total costs associated with these materials, and I'm also going to show you how I keep my stacks looking nice and neat. So stick around, this should be fun. So recently I ran out of shelf space for my records. If you're someone who buys a lot of vinyl like I do, the more you buy, the more you need places to put it. So I'm going to be building a new rack system for the incoming records, and I thought it'd be fun to show you the process. So let's go through that. So the typical storage units most people use are called cube organizers. There are two main brands of those, the first of which is the Kallax series from IKEA. A lot of people use the Kallax shelves. The other kind are Better Homes and Gardens branded. You can buy them at Walmart. They're pretty similar. I'm probably going to talk more about the Better Homes and Gardens version for a few reasons. The big one is not everyone has an IKEA in their neck of the woods. And if they go through the IKEA website and buy their branded shelves, the shipping is usually pretty monstrous. I like the shipping at Walmart, not to give them a plug, but it's a lot more decent. So I'm going to be talking about the Better Homes and Gardens ones, but you can really choose either one. Both are pretty sturdy in their own right if you set them up correctly. We'll get more into that later. But yeah, so there you are. So before I go into how I store my vinyl records, I want to talk about how other people do it and how next to none of that really works for me. Generally, those who use Kallax or similar shelves will stack units one on top of the other. However, there are a number of stories on the internet where folks who've stacked cube organizers actually have them collapse, even as long as 10 years later, and that's kind of scary. Some of that is due to having the long interior slats going horizontally and not vertically, but even if you're going the latter route, that's still a lot to put your faith in. You can remedy some future storage unit collapses by using wall anchors, but there's no real guarantee of lateral stability, only that the rack will likely not fall forward. And of course, wall anchors might not be practical in a rental unit because your landlord might not appreciate you drilling large holes into the walls. Also, for those who decide to stack vertically, you could add planks or sheets of wood in the back to add rigidity. But personally, I really don't want to deal with having to perform carpentry on my storage units. In fact, there's no need to. So let's go over to the rack, see what I've done. Hey look, destruction. So for those who watch my channel, you probably noticed the space in this room where this rack is now. You might remember that there was a German entertainment center from the 1950s in this spot. Well, I basically got rid of it. It was a bit of a piece of junk. The radio worked, but the turntable didn't, and there was this huge water damage stain on the top of it that I had covered with a leopard pattern fabric of sorts, but that was from years of an aquarium being on top of it. It slowly leaked over the years. It was in pretty bad shape. There was also a glass panel years back on the bar side of it that broke when I moved it. It basically snapped in half, and it slowly just started to degenerate. It wasn't looking as good as it could, and it didn't function well either. So it was also taking up room for records, so I had to get rid of it. So in its place is this rack here. I've got about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 cubes here. And as you're going to see from the pictures of me building it slowly, what I basically do is build the wire racking. I put the first shelf in, and then I put the first cube organizer in, and then I slide this next shelf over, not quite on top of it. I leave a good inch or so because I am accounting for settlement of the shelf a little bit. But I do like it kind of tight because I want to get as many cube organizers onto the wire racking shelf system as possible. So I tend to go that route. I'll put the next one in and then I kind of close it in with the shelf above it and so on and so forth. Also, you'll notice that I do have my lamp here. What I had done is I had taken this 2x2 here and put it here in the middle instead. This is my old one. It is a brown shelf. The others are black. Aesthetically, that might bug me a little bit, but I'm going to replace it sooner or later, so it's not that big of a deal. Another thing I want to talk about involving the wire rack system in general is that I have the frontmost pegs, that's the little feet at the bottom, I have them screwed up a good inch to push the center of gravity back a little bit because I live in an old place and my floor has settled a bit, so I'm just accounting for that gravity-wise and otherwise. Also, and I have to show a picture of this, there is a warning label on the cube organizer specifically that discusses that having these in my house may expose me to formaldehyde, which is a cancer-causing agent, which is hilarious, I guess. A little risk-taking in your vinyl collecting there. Another thing I did want to mention was why these cubes are half full each and not totally full of records. I got the idea because I got really sick of moving stacks around from cube to cube a bunch, so I figured if I just half fill each one of them for now, and as I get records, I can just slide them into the spaces. Eventually, they'll fill themselves out and I'll have to move stacks around, but less of that sounds better than more of that, so that's why I did this. Of course, one gripe a lot of people have about these types of cube organizers is that there is no back panel. You can actually see all the way to the back of the wall. I solved that somewhat by having black bamboo. It comes in a big roll, and it basically covers the entire back wall there, at least with a very dark color like black. And it's pretty cool. You can put it up in one of two ways. On one shelf on the opposite side of the room, I have it whereby it starts underneath this top cube organizer, so the weight of it holds it, and then it cascades down the back. So it covers all that other stuff. I mean, you can't see 7-8 feet up anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. This one, I actually did use 2 nails, count them 2, to put up on either side. And it's better than a white wall in the back. It just looks better. So that's an option. Black bamboo. It's very thin. It rolls up. It's the width of this rack, which is also nice. And you can get it at Amazon. I forgot how much, but I got it years ago. You could probably still look it up and find it. It's cool stuff, I guess. Of course, we should definitely talk about backspacers. If you don't know about backspacers, they are the little things way the hell back here that hold the records forward, and so they're all nice and neat and flushed, and that's always a good thing. My backspacers are from a company called Turntable Revival. They're online. You can look them up. They have 3 different types. They have one for the IKEA Kallax shelf. They have one for the Target version of these cube organizers, and they have one for the Better Homes and Gardens / Walmart variety, which is the one here. They do have them in 2 depths. One is sort of a standard depth. The other one's a skinny depth from front to back. I did get the skinnies, and I originally got them because what I was wanting to do is leave a little bit of room on the top here for lights, and I might still go that route. But what I also found by having the skinnies was that having my records in plastic outer sleeves adds a bit of depth to the front to the back with the record itself. So it does push them out even more. So if I'd gotten the standards, I'd have a bunch of records sticking out at least a little bit. And I'm glad I didn't go that route. So I got the skinnies, and specifically, again, the Better Homes and Gardens variety. I like that they have all 3 brands. They're pretty cool, and they're not that expensive. I bought quite a few of them, but you know, you can buy as many as you want. You can also make them if you want, but again, carpentry. Who wants to do carpentry? I don't. Maybe you do. And I'm also glad I'm doing this video right now because I did get someone in my comments section who specifically asked me about the dividers with my records and where I got them. These are the dividers here. They are a very thick kind of vinyl, though not record vinyl. They're very sturdy. I like that they're also black. I like that a little more. I got these from a guy on eBay called Sleevy Wonder, who deals in a lot of vinyl collecting supplies. He should probably have these still. I only bought these maybe 3 years ago. They're pretty good. The letters, however, don't come with it. I bought those as a sheet of vinyl letters you can buy on Amazon. Get the white ones if you're going to get the black dividers, just so it contrasts. But they're really nice. They're really sturdy. They're the right size and everything. So Sleevy Wonder, there's a plug for that guy. And as I alluded to before, I am working on a lighting solution for these racks. I did mention the strip lighting. There are a lot of different brands of strip lighting. Some of them are pretty awful. A lot of them don't put out enough light to be able to really read the spines of the records. I have a bunch of ideas about light. I might put a light on the other side of the room reflecting this way back, but I don't know. I mean, if you have a lighting solution for these in your own collection, for instance, that you find works really well, you should let me know in the comments because I'm also looking for a little bit of lighting advice. Everything else I can handle. It's the damn lights. I don't know why there's such a problem. Also, another thing about the wire rack system here, This is not a Metro rack. Metro is the company that is predominantly known for these kinds of wire rack systems. Metro racks are really expensive, hundreds of dollars in some cases. This is a knockoff, one of many knockoffs. They can run as cheap as 75% off of what Metro racks cost. It's a ripoff to buy the name brand. They're the exact same thing. They're all made of steel. They all put together the same way. So you can find these knockoffs at Home Depot, you can find them at Lowe's, you can find them on Amazon, so they're all over the place. Do some homework, of course, read the comments from reviewers, customers, and all that, and then make a decision based on that. There you are. So $350 US total for this, not too bad. That includes the Metro knockoff wire rack system, that includes the 13 backspacers, and includes all the cube organizers. I have 3 that have 3 cubes apiece, and then 1 that has the 4 cubes. Not a bad cost for a solution to a problem that will persist forever, as long as we keep buying records. But I love my records. I want them safe and sound, and I want them to look nice too, so there it is. And that's how I set up my vinyl storage racks. Just want to go through a brief summary of the benefits of my method, or the benefits as I perceive them. First and foremost, no wall anchors or stabilizing back panels. Again, I don't want to do carpentry. I don't even have a garage to do carpentry in, and besides, I hate that kind of stuff. Don't want to have to do it. If I'm going to do carpentry, I may as well build a whole entire rack system on my own, and that sounds like more work. I don't want to do that. So there's that. I do really like the cube organizers separating my stacks by every 15 inches, or a very limited space, I should say. I see people on the internet and otherwise, they have these multiple foot-wide stacks that are just bearing weight to the left or to the right too much. I feel like it's going to collapse in those directions, or at least put really awful amounts of weight on the records on the ends. Don't want to do that. Don't want to go through that. I do also enjoy my cube organizers on their own shelves. I feel like that solves the problem of weight bearing down from top to bottom. I just can't trust that. I know some of you make it work and good on you, but I just don't trust it. I love my collection too much to put it in jeopardy, even if I'm just being paranoid. You can call me paranoid in the comments if you like, but I probably am. Of course, the other thing I really like too is that the pegs on the bottom, the feet on the wire racking system, you can lift them up. So I have them screwed up a good inch or so. I like that because, again, I live in a 19th century apartment house and the floor has settled quite a bit. So that helps me in terms of getting that rack to go a little bit backwards, bringing that center of gravity back a bit. So I kind of hedge my bets on it falling forward. Not that it's really going to do that. Again, there's a lot of weight on this shelf as it stands, so I don't think it's going to go forward. But again, just sort of hedging my bets. So there it is. So how do you organize your record collection at home? Do you use cube organizers? Do you just use shelves? Do you use those little record store style bins where you go through them like this and it's a big waste of space? I don't know, maybe you have the space. Let me know in the comments. I love knowing people's ways, different ways of organizing their records. Everyone can have their own way of doing it, and it probably works for them too. But let me know. I'm always curious. Of course, I don't just do how-to videos for vinyl folks. In fact, I rarely do how-to videos. Mainly, I cover the subject of metal vinyl collecting. I also do videos on classic and modern metal in general. If that sounds of interest, you should definitely subscribe to this channel. Give this video a like while you're at it, and share it with some friends. Always dig that. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.